Welcome back to another video by JBoz Gaming. This is your host JBoz, and today we're going to talk about commanders in World of Tanks Modern Armor World War II game mode. Without further ado, let's hop in and check it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select World War II game mode from the main menu, and that will take us to the World War II Garage main screen. There you'll be able to tab over twice with the right bumper to the commander's sub window. And today we're going to talk about commanders, but what we're going to leave for another video is actually the skills on your commander. We'll break those down. We'll talk about what skills to take first and so on in a follow-up video to this one. So let's get into the actual commander screens. So here you come into the commander screen and you have the ability to select a commander, to go back to the main garage screen, or to filter on a commander. In this screen, it'll list the number of total commanders you have. That's the number of helmets, 211. And it'll show you that you have so many commanders in tanks. I happen to have 136 commanders in separate tanks. So this is where you can see how many total commanders you have and how many are in your tanks. And below that will be listed commanders that you can either assign. These are unassigned commanders that you can assign to a tank, or you can actually go in and recruit a new commander. I'm going to hit the A button. I'm going to select that recruit. I'm just going to go in there for a second, and we can see that there's different commanders that you can recruit, and these actually have different values. And just like tanks, there's kind of different levels of commander, and really what that drives is the rate in which they earn commander experience. And we're going to talk about commander experience just a second. But the bottom line is you can recruit kind of a standard commander. These happen to all be now. Used to you could recruit 2D commanders. Now you can only recruit 3D commanders. So these will all be 3D commanders. But this is a standard commander. And by what I mean by standard commanders, it has 1 star. It costs 500,000 silver, and you only earn 100% when this commander is in a tank. Now, if you go down to say a commander that's a premium commander, they earn more. So this premium commander earns 115% when he's in a tank, and actually has 2 skill slots open versus just the 1 that a standard commander has when you recruit them. And then there's also hero commanders who have 3 stars. They earn 130% and have 3 skill slots open for you to select skills right out of the gate. And so you can kind of leaf through with your left joystick the commanders that you can recruit. It's up to you what you actually recruit, but you will have been given some commanders when you start, so you don't have to recruit right away. It's quite expensive, and obviously anything beyond standard actually requires gold to recruit them. So I'm going to hit B, and I'm going to go back to the commander screen, and we're going to talk a little bit further about this. When you're in the commander screen, you can actually highlight a particular unassigned commander, and you can see detail about that commander. If it is a 2D commander, then in the middle of the screen you'll have like kind of a paper file, if you will, with a picture of them. And then also further to the right you'll have some more detail around that commander. This commander, as you can see, is a 3-star commander. It also earns at 130%, like we showed it in the recruitment screen. This commander actually has 3 skill slots, so we're really working on opening this 4th skill slot, and that would require this commander to earn 112,000 commander XP in order to open this slot and allow us to pick our 4th skill. So that's what this kind of card shows you, is what the commander currently has, and what level they are, basically, whether they're standard, premium, or hero. And so we'll kind of go into more detail about what you can do with a particular commander. But if you kind of hit the A button and actually select them, what it does is it goes to that particular commander, and on the left hand side of the screen things change. So now we can go in and drill a little bit further into this commander, and we can pick, skills, we can pick vehicle assignment, and so on. So this is how you assign the commander. So you can come in here and do vehicle assignment, and what that does is it brings up basically the filter screen of the tanks. And you can go in and you can filter down to whichever tank that you want to put this commander in. But you just find the tank you want, and then you select that tank over here in the results, and it'll assign it to that tank. Now, I don't want to put this particular commander in any given tank, so I'm just going to kind of back out of this. But if I would pick or hit A and select one of these tanks, it would probably prompt me. Yeah, it prompts me and gives me a drop down to say I can assign, remove favorite, or hold to sell. So it gives me some options here. But let's get out of here. Let's back up, and let's talk about this whole skill assignment here. If you do have open skill slots, you will want to pick skills for your commander. Again, I'm going to go through skills in a separate video that'll be a part of the overall training, but I want to kind of avoid that right now because that's a more in-depth conversation and will take a little more time than what we have today in this video. So we're going to back all the way out back to the main commander screen, and here we're going to talk about how to filter or basically search for a specific commander. So we can go into the filter and see that this is very similar to a previous video I did around filtering for tanks and setting up your carousel in the main garage. Well, this is the ability to basically sort and filter your commanders down to maybe a select few that you want to take a look at, or maybe assign to tanks. There are kind of there's two main areas to this filter screen. There's the filter box itself, and then the results screen over here. As we talked about, we have a total of 211 commanders. If I hold the X button, that will clear all selected filters, and all of a sudden I see all 211 out of 211 commanders over here in the results screen. So let's kind of dig in here and let's talk about the actual different filters that we can create on our commanders. So the first section is special, the second section is rarity, and then there's unlocked skill slots, and then nation and affiliation. I'm going to start at the bottom and kind of work our way up. As in a previous video, I mentioned that there are 12 nations that tanks are associated with in World War II, and that there are other groups or affiliations that the Cold War game mode has. And you don't see the Cold War affiliations in the tank filter because tanks don't cross game modes, but commanders do, or can. And so what they show you is all your commanders for basically Cold War as well as World War II. And that's why in the actual filter they actually show the three different kind of nations or affiliations that you have in Cold War, and that's Western Alliance, Eastern Alliance, and then Independence. The other 12 are the standard nations, if you will, of World War II mode. So, that's pretty typical, but it is different here with commanders than tanks, so I wanted to kind of point that out. The next kind of section is being able to filter or sort commanders out based on the number of slots that they have unlocked. So if we want to see how many commanders only have one skill slot unlocked, we can highlight that, and it'll quickly filter down to 96 out of 211 have only one skill slot. So that's kind of nice. It's really nice when you want to see, hey, how many commanders do I have with a full 9 skill or totally maxed out? And so you can do that by picking this last option under unlocked skill slots, and that is commanders that have the full 9 skills unlocked. You can do combinations where you can say, give me 2 and 3. You can do as many as you want, and exclude also works here, where if you hold the A button, then it will exclude that particular number of slots. And this will work both in the any of these sections. The exclude and include are pretty much the same as the filtering for tanks, so I won't go into any more detail than that. The next section is rarity, and again, this is kind of the stars of the commanders, and 1 star represents standard, 2 stars represents premium, and 3 stars represent hero. Again, the difference between these commanders is the rate in which they earn commander experience. And I'm going to stop here and talk about commander experience a little bit. So again, I've mentioned in a previous video that there's 3 types of experience that you earn in World of Tanks console. And the one type is the tank experience itself. Then there is commander experience that you earn when you have a commander in a tank and you take him into battle. He earns experience. And then there is a third type called free experience, which we talked about in the main garage video, where you can see your free experiences up here in the right hand corner. And this is earned when you go into battle with premium tanks, and potentially you might get ops that give you free experience, and so on. And these free experience can be used either for tanks, researching tanks, or researching skill slots. So it can be used for either or. So that third kind of type is actually used for both. It's a little harder to earn, but it gives you that flexibility to use it on what you want. So that's the 3 types of experience, and that's how people or how commanders earn experience is through that is through their different earn rates. Again, this was 100, 115, and 130. The special filters are whether the commander is unassigned, assigned, favorited, whether it's a 2D commander or a 3D commander. 2D commanders don't have the 3D model. They just have a picture, and they don't show up in the main garage screen in the background, where 3D commanders have not only a picture, but they have a 3D model that will show up in the background. You'll also see them when you go into battle and you select a tank and you go into the battle queue. You'll also see them on the cut screen at the end of the battle. If you've made the top 3, you'll see your tank and your commander there at the end as well. So let's kind of talk about once you've selected or filtered your commanders down and you have a certain result, you can come over here and select any one of these commanders, and you can either go directly to that commander, you can add it to the favorites list, which all that does is similar to a tank. It puts a little flag, ribbon, if you will, on the commander card, and then it also gives you the ability to filter by your favorite commanders, because you can come over here and pick the favorites and it'll drill down to just that commander. So let's do that. I'll add one as a favorite. I'll go and just select favorites, and that's the only one right now that I have marked as favorite. So it shows just that commander. So if you have a set of commanders that you're working with a lot, you might want to go ahead and favorite them. It's a quick way to filter to just the commanders that you're working with. But that's how the filtering of the favorites works. Also, when you're over on the commander, there is an option when you select A on the commander to also dismiss that commander. Now, you do have to hold the A button to do that, and when you do that, you'll get a confirmation screen. When you dismiss or discharge a commander, depending on the commander, you might get silver back, or depending on whether it's a 2D or 3D commander, will determine how much you get back for a commander. You obviously don't get the full price, so if you, so let's say you sell a standard commander back that's 2D, then you'll only get 250,000 silver, versus when you recruit a standard 2D commander, that's 500,000. So you get basically half price. But you can sell them back if you don't use them. I did sell a lot of commanders at one point, just because I don't see myself ever using all of the standard commanders that I had, and I have a whole bunch of special ones that weren't needed. So I could generate some silver by selling them back, and I did do that. All right. So also over here to the right, once you select or highlight a particular commander, you will see on the right side of the screen the detail of that commander. But we can also drill into that commander by picking the option to go to that commander. And again, this is very similar to what we just did a minute ago. It'll give you the ability to look at that commander's skills, and then ultimately assign a tank to that commander. So to assign skills, you just pick the first option with the A button. You go even further in, and then that's when it will actually start to let you select the skill slot that is unlocked that you want to fill with a skill. So you just highlight that skill slot, and then it brings up the skills that you can select for that commander. Now, again, I will do another video after this one, kind of going through all the available skills and talking about the benefits of which ones do what, and how these complement some of the other things that you'll want to think about as far as making your tank better. So we'll do another video with that. But this is where you actually add those skills to the commander. Is this detailed screen? You just hit B. You go back. You do on this screen also have the ability to hide the interface. I don't know why you want to hide the interface here, but it is an option, so I did cover it. Going even further back out of this detailed screen, we should get back to the main commander window here. And once we're back there, you might have a lot of commanders here, and that's why sometimes you'll want to be able to filter these down so that you're just working with the commanders that you typically do. Now, some of these commanders, and I think that this is probably as important to be aware of, is when you assign a commander to a tank, that tank is associated with a country. Originally, when you recruit a commander, it is not associated with a particular nation. But once you assign that commander to a tank, then that commander becomes associated to a nation. So, for example, I'm just going to pick Vasquez here, and she was not originally associated or affiliated with the Chinese nation, but because I have placed her in my M5A1 Stuart, which happens to be a Chinese light tank, she is now associated with the Chinese nation. If I want to move Vasquez to another tank in another nation, it is going to cost me money or gold to do that. It costs 60 gold for you to transfer a commander from one nation to another. So the point I want to bring up here is it is a good idea to decide which commanders you want for which nations. That way you can place them in those nations, keep them in those nations, and not transfer them out of those nations. By doing that, you're saving yourself gold, and you won't have to spend gold to move that commander from nation to nation. So now, initially, you won't have a lot of commanders, and you might want to do that. If you do that, then just recognize that you are going to spend gold in order to transfer that commander to that new nation affiliation. And if you want to move that commander back to the old nation, it's going to cost you 60 gold. It costs you 60 gold every time you change the commander's nation affiliation. Now, if you assign a commander to a standard tech tree tank, the initial assignment doesn't cost you anything, but once a commander is in a tank and is associated to a country, then moving that commander is either going to cost you silver or gold. Gold is where you're transferring from nation to nation. Silver is where you're transferring from either a standard tech tree tank that you find those on the tech tree, or you're transferring from one tank type to another. Let's say you have a standard. Let's get an example. So I have, this is a standard tank. This M5A1 is a standard tank. So it has a green background, and you can see that it's a standard tank. If I wanted to transfer Vasquez to another Chinese tank in the Chinese tech line, I can do that. It's not going to cost me 60 gold, but what it is going to cost me is 9,000 silver. So every time you move a commander from one tank to the other, you are going to cost yourself 9,000 silver. Now, here's the kind of tip. If you move that commander within the nation, great, you saved yourself gold. if you move that commander to a tank within the nation, you're going to, incur that 9,000 silver the first time you transfer, but you are allowed to move that commander back to its origination tank. So you can move it back into the M5A1, for example, and it will not cost you 9,000 gold. The other kind of trick here is when you have a premium tank, it doesn't cost you silver to move a commander from one premium tank to another. So when you're going from a tech tree tank to a premium tank, it doesn't cost you silver. So premium tanks actually reduce the amount that you pay when you're transferring commanders from one tank to the other. But when you're dealing with standard tanks out of the more traditional tech tree, it's going to cost you to move these commanders around. And just be aware that you're going to incur that cost. So as a tip from me to you, I would strongly encourage you to get that commander into a tank that you want to use a lot, get that commander trained up, and then decide where you want to kind of put that commander permanently, and move that commander into that tank, and that way you'll only incur that cost maybe once or twice to move that commander around. All right. Okay, so that's how we move commanders around. Let's see. In fact, I want to show you the screen that will do that. So what we'll do is we'll go and we'll get some premium tanks. Let's look for premium tanks that have commanders in them. Oh no, this is yeah. So let's do this. Let's look for tier 8. Let's look for, so these all have commanders in them. That's fine. So let's look at actually going into one of these tanks. We'll go over to the commander. This commander is assigned to this M41B Brazilian, right? So Coleman, and let's say we want to take a look at Coleman. We can just click the A button, and again we can go down to vehicle assignment, and now we can change where we want Coleman to go. Let's say we want to put Coleman, in fact we're going to pick a tank that doesn't have a commander here, and let's say we want him to go into a defender. Well, since we're going from a Chinese to Russian tank, let's say we assign it, you can see that we're taking Coleman from the M41 Brazilian and we're moving him to a Russian defender here. When we do that, the vehicle transfer would normally be 9,000 silver. But because we're going from a premium to a premium, see, we get a discount. And that means that it completely negates this $9,000 cost in silver. So we really aren't going to spend silver to transfer this commander from a premium tank to a premium tank. And again, the gold background dictates that this is a premium tank. So now you can see, though, we do incur a 60 gold cost to transfer this commander. And the reason that we incur that is because we're going from an American associated commander to now transferring him to be a Russian associated commander. And so that's just the confirmation screen, and this kind of, again, really clearly explains, what you're charged when you tend to transfer from one tank to the other. I'll tell you what. Let's just pick another tank that has a commander. We'll go with this one. Let's see here. Yeah, let's drill in there and let's do an assign. So now we're gonna, well, actually, let's go from the bull. Let's not have a premium. That way you can see. Actually, let's exclude this. Let's not have a commander in that tank, and let's just take it to the T28. So now we're transferring within the country, right? We're going from America to America. Makes sense. So there's no gold cost to transfer the commander. However, we're going from a premium to now a non-premium tank. And that's why we're going to get charged 9,000 silver, is because we don't get that discount because we're taking this commander out of the premium tank. Now, we can get all the way out. Let's do that. Let's go all the way back to where let's say we have actually, let's do this. Let's pick a non-premium tank that has a commander in it, and we can show you. So we'll pick this one. Let's go to this vehicle. So what we're going to do is go in and pick that commander, and we're going to transfer this commander, right? So let's do vehicle assignment, and now we're going to go into a tank that is premium. Sorry, yeah, let's do that. We'll just go into a tank that is premium. Again, now we're getting charged 9,000, but it's again reduced because we're going to a premium tank, and we have 60 gold charged because we're going from a different country. So let's back out of there, and let's not go to a premium tank. Let's go to something that's maybe a standard tank. So let's put him in the Ferdinand. When we do that, we're being charged 9,000 silver and 60 gold. So it really is costly to transfer from a standard tank to a non-premium tank to a non-premium tank. Costs you 9,000 silver. So that's just a different combination. Now, if we wanted to not put him in the Ferdinand, but because we're picking from a Russian tank, I think. Let's do assignment. Nope, it's a French tank. Sorry. Let's see if we can't find a French tank. Yeah, let's do this. Let's specifically find a. Oops. No. Let's find a French tank, and we'll just filter this out. And let's just say we're going to put him in. I don't know. Let's see an S35. Let's assign that. So now we don't incur that gold cost, but we're still incurring going from one tank in the same nation to another tank in the same nation, that 9,000 silver. So it's not just when you're going from a non-premium to a premium, but it's also when you're going from a non-premium to a non-premium in the same nation, you're charged that 9,000 silver. So kind of just know that when you move these crews around, it's going to cost you some silver and some gold. And be smart about it, and you can save yourself some money if you just do a little thinking ahead and say, hey, where would I like this commander to stay until I'm really ready to move him permanently? In my case, I do certain tanks, I do crew training because they have bonuses to commander experience. And so I use that crew in that tank until I get them trained up, and then I transfer them one time typically into their what I'll call their home tank, where they're always going to remain for the most part. So that's how I do it, and it really reduces the movement of my commanders in tanks. Obviously, as you play the game and you get more commanders, it makes it easier. But at the start of the game, if you're really trying to move up and research tanks, you may have to move commanders up the tech tree and go along with that tank. Some differences are if you pick a tank like let's say it's we'll pick something here that, well, in this case it's a light tank. I don't know if there's another. I probably have another light French tank. So what we'll do is we'll go back into commanders. We're going to go from the BC 12T. And we're going to try to pick another tank in the French line that is a light tank. So let's see if we can do that. So we're going to go, again, we filtered on French. We want it to be a standard tank. We want it to be a light tank, right? And let's see what happens when we try to go from our current tank to, let's say, an AMX 12T. And we hit the sign. Even though we're still a light tank within the French country, we are still going to be have to incur a cost of 9,000 silver. So just know that when you move, that commander up the line, so to speak. So let's say you're trying to make progress down the French line of tanks. As you move, let's say you had a commander in your S-35, you open up the B1, you buy it, and now you want to work up to the BDR. Well, may need to move that commander from your S-35 up to your B1, right? If you don't have another commander to assign, then you will have to do that. And that will cost you 9,000 silver, right? So again, it's not a silver cost if you move within the premiums or you move to the premiums. It is a silver cost if it's a non-premium to a non-premium, or if it's going from a premium to back to a non-premium. That's going to be a silver cost of 9,000. If you're moving across to nation affiliation, then that's going to be a $60 gold or 60 gold charge. So that's commanders. Hopefully I covered everything. If I missed something that you would like for me to cover in a future video, please leave a comment. If this was helpful, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That helps the channel grow. And I appreciate your time and attention today. We'll see you in the next one.